Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 16th of September. So, looking slightly ahead this week in terms of we do have the Fed meeting this week. So that's on Wednesday. They actually get together obviously on Tuesday, but Wednesday is when we all get to know their decision. Expected to see a 0.25% cut on that, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, that may just slow things down in the markets a tad, which is always a pain, but we'll see. It looks like we've got a bit of lively action this morning, although a bit limited possibly. But the euro dollar I'm going to start on first as ever, and it's had a little pop up this morning, but currently heading south towards the weekly pivot, which would be a logical place for it. Now, it's all got a bit sort of jammed up on last week's data there. If I just pull that out of the way, there we go, so we can see what's happening at the moment, and then squish it down a bit. There we go. So just really looking, the weekly pivot target would be about 1037-ish. I know it's 1036 is where the pivot is, but I tend to target a pip less. Really depends how it chops out this morning, and look see if it starts breaking down this morning. That would be a possible target there, and trade to be had. So just need to watch that this morning. Just watch it past post 8 o'clock really. If it starts selling off, just look for opportunities. Daily pivot's already been hit. Cable had a good surge up on Friday. Again, it's got a weekly pivot below. In the natural scheme of things, I wouldn't be massively surprised if it pops down towards this, if not hitting it as well. It's not that far behind. It's here we just really need to wait and see if it breaks that 4-hourly 8. It's got, as I say, the weekly pivot below. I'm still got a hint of bullishness. We've got daily pivot below there as well. So actually both of them are sort of have opportunities. Again, post 8 o'clock opportunity. Wait and see if it breaks that 4-hourly 8. If it starts breaking down below that, that may be the signal. It could, of course, it's had a retracement already. It may just run off this morning, get short of both of these, and just leg it. It's had some good moves, but as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down there, and it's really what I'm waiting for this morning. Dollar yen. Consolidated on Friday there. It gapped down over the weekend on the risk factor, but that's pushed off now, and it's already after a bit of jiggling about, it's already hit the weekly pivot there, and it's a bit of a gap above. It may just go back up and continue to get that, and its daily pivot, which is sitting above there, so would be targets to the upside if it breaks. Maybe if it breaks that 34.50, but it's not got a lot of pips in it. 94, 6 pips into the if I got that right, 94, yep. 7 pips maybe, 6 or 7 pips. It's not got a lot into it back to the pivot. It looks a lot more than it really is. Okay, that's the dollar yen. Not much more to say about that, but it may pitch up. Aussie dollar. Again, just consolidating here. It's not really moving too far. I was looking at this last week. We've got a sort of a divergence through. It hasn't broken the lows of this. It's just staying still. The longer it just consolidates, chances are it might consolidate and carry on pushing. But thought it might have seen a bit more price action in it. But choppy as anything on this. I've got a 30-minute chart here, not a 60, but matters little. Let's just switch this to a 60. There we go. Still, you see how choppy it is at the moment. Already through the daily and weekly pivot, so not a lot to aim for on that. But break to the upside, maybe back into last week's high on the R1 there. So break of that trend line. May see that sort of as a target. Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar should have been benefiting through it, which I'll come on to in just a moment. It actually has gone quite the opposite here. It's actually running up now. It did benefit probably initially, but the comments through the Asian session there and over has been that reserves will be released, etc., and things should be back to normal pretty soon in the oil fields in Saudi. So if you hadn't heard, the oil fields in Saudi had been attacked, and or half their production had been stopped, but which is 5% of the global output apparently. There you go, numbers off the top, but it looks like that's not going to hold things up, and things are going to be back to normal soonish. Anyway, for here, what we got, well, this if things are back to normal, this gap that has sort of been put there would probably get filled on the Canadian dollar. So there's a possibility. It has got the daily pivot above already through the weekly, so daily above, and as I say, that gap may get filled. It was looking soft into Friday. Looking at oil itself, which is only right, and I'm looking at West Texas here. I'm not looking at Brent. Brent went up to about $71 over the weekend there, but this is already starting to come back. As I said, that there's an expectation that the things would be back to normal, although there was obviously massive flames there that we saw on the programs. The actual damage may be not as bad as it looks. Potentially, things were stopped very quickly. Actually, it says here that Saudi expect to restore 1/3 of the lost production by the end of the day on Monday the 16th. So there's others believing they'll get more running. So either way, it's not going to be too long before that's running. And as I said, the US has suggested it would release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So overall, I expect this to, unless there's further attacks, head back down to where it was. So there we are. There's this morning's outlook. News-wise today, there's not a great deal. Chinese data, that's out, so it's all out. We've got tomorrow, really. It's nothing else here today, so it's really looking ahead to the rest of the week. And as I said, it's on Wednesdays, that key one at 7 o'clock, the Fed funds rate. So we'll see how we run with that. Have a great one. I'll be back on in the morning. Bye for now.